Hello and welcome to the Blackout Show with SG. So we're going to have some EFI conversation today, okay? There's a lot of information that's out there. A lot of people, they go to the internet to look for information with EFI. And one thing that I've learned over time is that most of the information on the internet is not correct, right? And so if you have something where you're trying to find knowledge of something, generally you align with an elay, right? With a lineage, and that's what you stick with. That's who you allow to teach you. That's who you allow to guide you, and you go based on the premise of that lineage, okay? The premise of that culture. The thing is that these lineages, they are corrupt. A lot of them are corrupt. It's a lot that you have to deal with, right? And so if you take someone in their human form, you have people that can work a job, and that's what they do, and you have entrepreneurs, right? And so generally, if you are, if you're a follower or you're initiated into EFI, you're generally self-employed, right? This is you having your own peace, your own, independence. EFI, brings blessings, aligning with Olodumare. And so you get into a state of trying to figure out what's right and what's wrong. A lot of people tend to forget about their voice, their gifts, their spirituality, and they lean more on how they're being guided and what they're being told, right? And so during my journey in my walk with Ifa, I'm extremely guided, right? And that's the one thing that I will not give up is my own spirituality, like my own spiritual sense, right? And so it always has come down to me knowing that something isn't right, or knowing that there's some type of agenda, seeing it, again, seeing it, and just like, what do I do with this information? There are 16 laws to EFI, right? There's 16 solid laws to EFI. And this is what I pay attention to with these laws of EFI, right? And I pay attention to whom I am surrounded by. Are they following the laws of EFI? One of the main things that is talked about in EFI is character, right? Having good character, right? And you have so many people, and also not having a big ego. And we're going to go over the 16 laws of EFI, but not having a big ego, okay? One must be humble. And for me, I guess in my terms and my definitions, I see so many people in EFI. They go, they get all of this knowledge, they get, all of this training, meet with all of these people, brush hands with people, and then they feel like they're superior, or they are better than the ones who have not done these things, right? And that's not true. Let me tell you, me, and I've experienced this my whole life. I've lived my life. I did everything that I wanted to do, but I have degrees that back me, and I could go get a job with the best of them. But then if they figure out like who I am, they get mad and jealous, like, oh, you don't belong with us. Why? Because y'all did everything in one way, and I did something completely different, and I still ended up where you are, right? That's what people fail to realize. You don't have to do things the exact same way as someone else to get the same result, right? We all have our independent journey, and we all have our independent destiny, right? And I've ended up in places where other people are that always look a certain way. How did you get here? Right? The one thing that I do understand is that Spirit is going to guide me to the right people at the right time. I also understand that I cannot get attached to anyone. So it may be spirits and energies within people that I adore, but I'm never attaching myself to anyone, because when Spirit tells me it's time to move, when Spirit shows me something, then I gotta move. I gotta do what I gotta do, right? I've never been the type of person to be weak when it comes to, my intuition. So speaking of, the 16 laws of EFI, you should not lie, okay? There's no, oh, well, I have to lie to get this result, or I have to do it this way to get this done, right? A lie is a lie, whether it's direct or indirect, right? You should not perform initiation, ebo, divination without complete knowledge, right? So in order to use your tools, in order to, be a Ianifa, you must have the proper knowledge. You must have the proper training to do these things, right? How you obtain your knowledge is your way, okay? Sometimes you have to go to school, and in Africa you go through years and years and years of school for this. In America, you don't really go through that many years of school at the beginning. You can go through initiation and then get the knowledge after that, okay? So it's done on a lot of different bases. You should not mislead people with wrong information, okay? So that's very important. A lot of people will play on the fact of you not knowing and try to play on your intelligence if you don't know something, or try to give you information on how things should be, and they be wrong, right? But again, this is why their life isn't right. You know what I'm saying? But you have to know these things. You should not deceive people financially or spiritually, right? So a lot of people, corruption. It's a lot of corruption. A lot of people just want money. And so they say, well, Ifa is so rich in Africa, and why is Africa still in this energy? Because there's a lot of scamming going on. There's a lot of financial deceit going on in Africa and everywhere else through the spirituality. You know what I'm saying? Like, giving information to make somebody feel away, or, overcharging. Okay, you're in Africa, but you're charging United States numbers. It's a lot going on that should not be going on within the tradition of Ifa. But it's here. This is what they're doing. Everybody is trying to, get rich in their aspect, right? To me, if you're in Africa and you want something done in Africa, charge African numbers, right? Don't try to, oh, okay, well, you coming from the United States, so you can pay more, so I'm going to charge you more. This is why you're having issues, okay? You should not claim a wisdom you're not entitled to, okay? If you don't know, you don't know. If you can't guide somebody on something, then you can't. But yet we still have it happening so much. You should humble yourself and not be egocentric. And this is the biggest one that people have problems with, because then they talk about having good character, right? But they don't have good character themselves. You have people that will come at you wrong, or come at you as if they are so superior that they can speak to you how they want to speak to you, and then expect you in return to, humble yourself talking back to them. We don't play like that. My grandmother always told me, you get the respect that you give. And I've always been that energy since a little girl. So if you want me to respect you, you're going to respect me. And as soon as you don't respect me, I'm not going to respect you. And that's how it goes. So put your ego aside. Like, you can't be egocentric. There's a lot of people in this spirituality realm that know more than me. But do I feel like you're superior than me? There's not one human on this earth that I feel like is more superior than me. Okay? But I respect you. I respect your knowledge. I respect where you're coming from. But as soon as you feel as though you're not respecting me, I don't respect you. You should not be treacherous. Come on, man. All the scheming and trying to figure things out. I see you when you come in. But yet, you got a lot of it going. You got a lot of treachery happening in E5. You should take taboo seriously. And you know that. If you know, you know. If you know what a taboo is, you know what a taboo is. You must take your taboo seriously. And you will not claim a false taboo. You will not claim these things, okay? You should not break taboos, right? So, yeah, you gotta make sure that everything is aligned when it comes to that. You should always be trustworthy. And so with all of these things, they tie into each other, because you have to lead with a certain manner, and trustworthiness is very hard to find. And I say a prayer. Like, I know a lot of times, like we when we pick up the torch to spirituality, I like, yes, let's go, right? Because it's a lot that they could not teach us while they're here. But I say to them, align me with the right people, okay? All of the tests that I go through now in the spirituality walk of life are tests that I had to go through growing up. I'm from the streets. I'm a whole G. I'm literally from the streets. So playing the mind games with me, really, I'm already ahead of you, and I already see them coming. And I have to tell them, like, okay, stop giving me the lessons of the people and align me with the people that I'm supposed to be with, or make sure that the people that I am with are properly aligned, or they correct their actions so that we can move forward, right? So in me making this prayer, like, align me with the right people, it took me some time to get into that energy, right? To make that prayer, right? From being aligned with people. And yes, there's things that I got from every situation and every person I encounter. It's like, okay, I'm getting, pieces of the lesson. Like, pay attention. This is what you're going to encounter. This is what you're going to have to go through. This is what you're going to have to deal with. But all of the laws of Ifa that I've read thus far, at least one of them have been broken by the people that I have encountered, on my journey when I made up this prayer. You know what I'm saying? And still things that I see to this day, okay? You should not take a walking cane from the blind. Respect Obatala's creation, people with disabilities. So Obatala, right, which is my Baba, he created the people with disabilities, right? So you should not disrespect, you should not pick at, you should not, manipulate or anything like that with anyone with a disability, right? And that's there. You should not take a cane from the elders. Respect your elders. So you should always respect your elders. Okay. Now, when it comes down to that same simple notion, if my elder does not respect me, I remove my energy, because I don't care who you are. You're not going to disrespect me and expect respect, right? So if your elder is not respecting you, then you remove your energy, but you do not blatantly disrespect your elders. That is a no-go, right? And these laws, okay, are for long life and good health, right? So you can shorten your life and bring in poor health by not following the tradition and the laws, okay? You should not take an Oboni's wife or husband. If you know, you know. I can't go into that, because if you don't know, you don't know, okay? You should not sleep with your friend's wife or husband. Don't betray your friends, okay? So you got a lot of relationship competition in spirituality. Oh, I see them, that's what I want. Oh, okay, well, yeah, I want that, or I'm gonna go take that, or X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? When it's, poly is very important. And I respect the setup in Ifa on relationships. I just will not be number anything after one, okay? You should not go behind and discuss secret. Don't betray trust. And that's just not that up until this day, right? You got people that just talk too much, and that's just what it is. I don't care how you put it, people talk too much. And when you call them out on it, then they get upset about it. But you got a lot of people that talk way too much. And that's one of the things, like, you lose my respect when that happens. But just about everybody does that. Whatever you talk to me about, whatever you discuss to me about, that's what you discuss to me about. You got a lot of messy ass people, right? You should not disrespect the true Babalawo or Larisha. So the key to that is a true Babalawo, right? You got a lot of people that's here, they're not even true to themselves. You got a lot of people that are practicing or has gotten initiated, and they are not following the lines. They are not following, the laws of Ifa, right? They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I see that, right? I don't consider you a true Babalawo or Larisha, right? Because if you're doing any of the things that I just discussed here, you're not true. You're not true to yourself. You're not true to Ifa, right? And I think a lot of people get sidetracked on the ashe that they obtain, on the finances that they attain, on the levels and the energies, right? And so a lot of people are looking for people to be mules, right? To be sheep. You know what I'm saying? And in Ifa, you should not look for a sheep, right? You should look for the people that want the best for themselves. You should look for the leaders, right? But it takes a special kind of person to want to deal with other leaders, right? Because then that ego comes into play, and you're gonna run across people that have stronger gifts than you, right? Just because you went and got all of this education and this, that, and the other, you're still only susceptible to the level of gifts that you have, right? And you're gonna meet these people, and they haven't did half of the things that you've done, and they have these gifts that are, you know, are stronger than yours, and it's perfectly fine. It's not a competition, right? You look at that as, oh man, thank you, spirit. Now you brought somebody in here. Now we can go higher. A lot of people don't look at it that way. They look at it as, oh well, yeah, you're still beneath me because I did this. You know, like, it's a lot that comes along with your spiritual walk and your spiritual journey. It's not all peaches and cream. The same way you can go to the church and there's a lot of drama in the church, a lot of gossiping, a lot of he said, she said, we said, they said, right? No matter what it is, it's a lot, right? That comes along with whatever walk of life. So don't feel as though like, and that was my mistake at the beginning. You know, I felt like, okay, well, this is going to be completely different. It's not. Right? And it's a money grab, right? Because this information cannot really be found on the internet. You know what I'm saying? You cannot find a lot of pertinent information on the internet. You have to be aligned with certain people. And if you are not aligned with certain people, you won't get this information. And me, I'm always speaking on a spiritual standpoint, but I felt as though to give you these laws of Ifa, walking in Ifa, right? Where you think that they go and take the 10 commandments from? They didn't just pull them out of their butt, right? Like, but it's more than that. It's bigger than that. You know, these religions, they came from African spirituality. They were formed based upon African spirituality, right? And so in order to be properly aligned with your higher self, you have to be able to follow these laws, follow these traditions, follow these things that were in place before us. And the thing about it is most people lack that ability to do that, right? So you can go learn as much as you want to learn. You can go get with the E-Lay. You can go get initiated. You can go do all of these things, but you're not there. And also, don't ever feel as though you need to get with the E-Lay or, you know, the house you're initiated with. They talk against you moving around, right? They speak against you moving around. They speak against you moving, you know, through the lineages, because of course they want to keep you there. They want to keep that money in the house. How do you think these Elays become big, right? They have to have, you know, the people that allow them to lead them, right? But one thing that I stand on, right? You're brought to certain places and people for a reason. You will have many teachers on your journey in Ifa, right? So when you're in a situation where someone just wants to be your teacher and they are not open to you having many of teachers or having other teachers and being able to learn things in other ways, then you want to look at that situation. No one way is the right way. Right? When it comes to Ifa, there's so much information to gather, to get, to receive out here. Keep your doors open, right? You can be a part of an Elay and then you have somebody else that gives you great knowledge, you know, in another aspect. Keep your doors open. You know, I'm always open about that, right? If I want to be here, I'll be here. If I don't want to be here, then I won't be here. I'm not a sucker. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a sucker. I deal with whatever I have to deal with. But when I'm told to move, I'm generally spiritually guided to move. And so you're not dealing with me. You're dealing with something bigger than me, right? Keep your options open. If something doesn't sit right with your soul, maybe X outside of that situation, right? I wouldn't say something doesn't sit right with your soul, then you go directly to them, because we are dealing with spirituality here. And there's a lot of people that will go and try to, you know, manipulate the energies and manipulate the wheel of things to get things to be where they are, right? And so out of all of this, you do have some good people in Ifa. You do have some solid people that want to give you good stuff in Ifa, right? And they want to get you where you need to go. you will have to spend money in Ifa. You know what I'm saying? It's not a free tradition. If you're not doing what you got to do, you will have to spend money. But make sure that you're spending your money with people that are aligned with you, right? Somebody can align with you, but they don't align with me. So make sure that you're being properly aligned, and most importantly, keep Olodumare first. Keep God first. Whatever name you want to align with, keep God first. Always pray. Set your routines. Do what needs to be done, right? Create the discipline. Discipline is first. It's the first thing that you need to create when you want to walk in this. But you have to be mindful, right? I can talk to you about the greatest parts of what I've seen in Ifa, and I can talk to you about the not so great parts in Ifa, or what you may feel. I feel like all of these are great parts, right? Because you learn, right? You learn who not to mess with. You learn what to pay attention to. You learn all of these things within this journey. You know what I'm saying? And then as you learn, you go forward. So hopefully I was able to help you guys. It's very beautiful, but it's a lot of people that are like, hey, they're entrepreneurs. They got to make money some type of way, right? And so your mission is to always allow spirit to guide you first, to never give up your light to stand under someone else's. Ashe.